All right, this is Openstax U.S. History, Chapter 25, Section 4, Assessing the Hoover Years on the Eve of the New Deal. So, short section here, but it just talks a little bit more about President Hoover, which of course is the president at the 1929 stock market crash. And the subsequent beginning years of the Great Depression. He oftentimes is considered to be one of the worst presidents in American history for having, really the worst economic depression in American history happen on his watch. But that's not to say that he didn't do anything as president. There's still some important things to take note of. Real quick on foreign policy, some of Hoover's contributions included the Clark Memorandum. This made better relations with Latin America. Really what this did was the United States had more respect for the sovereignty of Latin America. In some ways, it kind of overturned the Roosevelt corollary, which pretty much stated that the United States had a right to rule in Latin American affairs. So better relations with Latin America. But Hoover is also responsible for the Smoot-Hawley tariff, which was a very high tariff. Recall that a tariff, if you don't remember, is a tax on imports. And that was exactly the opposite of what the United States needed during the Depression years. Taxing foreign goods is meant to help American businesses if foreign competition is too strong. In this case, that wasn't the issue. The issue was that there really weren't any buyers, right? The bad banking system. So this made the Depression worse, right? This tariff. Really what American businesses needed was more opportunities to trade. Since Americans weren't buying products, they needed to sell their products overseas. And tariffs typically worked that if you tax a foreign country, that foreign country is going to tax you. So it really didn't bring any help to the Depression. In terms of civil rights, really Hoover's belief in individualism didn't lead to much progress on in terms of civil rights for African Americans in the South. That groups like the NAACP were pushing anti-lynching laws, although we did see in the previous chapter how the Supreme Court stepped in when it came to the Scottsboro case. When it came to wanting an anti-lynching law, Hoover really didn't act. However, he was on the civil rights of Native Americans, probably the one of the better presidents in that respect. Charles Curtis, who was his vice president, was Native American. He was the highest political highest political position any Native American had ever held. That is the vice president. And in 1924, citizenship was extended to all Native Americans. So Native American citizenship. He also created the Indian Bureau of Affairs, which also assisted with problems that Native Americans faced in the country. However, the final assessment, Hoover is always going to be equated with the Great Depression. And when push comes to shove, even though Hoover did try and do some things like the Reconstruction Finance Corporation, like encouraging volunteerism, the bottom line is that the United States went into the deepest and worst economic depression under his watch. And it really was this belief in American individualism, right? And again, this is hard work equals success, that belief. It was really this belief that prevented Hoover from taking necessary measures. All right. And so he'll forever go down as, for right or for wrong, go down as one of the worst presidents in American history.